Hey guys, I thought I would make a special video today. This is going to be my products I never used video. I found actually this video and the products I regret buying, they're both the same thing. I found those videos actually to be the most helpful when I was pregnant with Molly in terms of what I needed, what I didn't need, and what I should buy after she was here and things I should buy used as opposed to new. And the biggest piece of advice I can give is to watch these videos. You'll find that a lot of things are 50-50 in terms of people that used and didn't use them. And those products you should definitely get used. Just because you may not use them, you don't want to waste a ton of money getting them new. Lots of people sell the things that are 50-50. Or, of course, if someone gets it for you as a gift, then that doesn't matter because you didn't have to pay for it. So anyway, I came up with quite a big list based on kind of other people's lists and stuff of baby products that I never used. Or ones that I did use, but only for a short time and I could totally live without, and I will explain why. This video is going to definitely be pretty long, so I'm just going to put the products I'm going to talk about on the screen while I'm talking right now so that you can see what I'm going to talk about and then I'll explain why. So let's begin. Okay, my number one product that I did not use was a boppy pillow, and this is one of those 50-50 things. Thankfully, I knew I would probably have this problem, so I bought mine at a thrift store, and I did not find it useful whatsoever. I tried to put it on my tummy, and my tummy was still big from having a baby. It did not fit around my big rib cage, and it just went back and forth, and it was not stable at all. It could be because it was used. It was definitely thrown in the wash in its entirety, so it was pretty firm. But really, I didn't need a pillow. Molly was the perfect size, my body was the perfect dimensions, that I was able to nurse her without using it whatsoever. I tried one time and I was like, screw that, threw it to the side, and every time I'd sit down to nurse, I'd be like, oh crap, I forgot to grab my boppy, and it would be across the room, and of course I wasn't going to go stop and get it. So I didn't find it useful. A lot of people will say, well, you can use it when your child is learning to sit up, and that's actually why I got it, because I knew I might find it useful then. And I really didn't, because first of all, I have carpet, so if she were to fall over, she wouldn't really get hurt. And when Molly started sitting up, she was a little bit later because I just didn't push her to do it. And so she didn't really fall over that way. She kind of fell forward. So I just did not find it useful. It's sitting in a corner of our bedroom. Okay, next is a diaper bag. This is also a 50-50 item. This is one, I know it's going to sound like the worst thing in the world to wait, but this is one that you should wait until your child is born before you purchase, because you may think you're going to have a certain lifestyle and you won't. So I didn't use a diaper bag mainly because I have a really big purse. My purse is technically called a canvas field bag. It looks like a messenger bag. I did not need a diaper bag. I just put diapers in my purse, I put wipes in my purse, and seriously, whenever we take Molly somewhere, we just pack a bag that the hospital gave us for free and put everything in that. I don't need a bag that's packed with everything under the sun. Seriously, anytime I'm actually going somewhere, which isn't very often because I'm an introvert and I just have nowhere to go, when I'm actually taking her somewhere, like my parents' house or Ben's parents' house, we just toss some clothes and her water bottle and whatever we need in that. And then there's just diapers thrown all over the back seat of my car. I didn't need a diaper bag. It's one of those things that you might need, but you probably won't need a fancy one. If you want one, of course, get one, but that's something you should wait until your baby's here to purchase to make sure you get the most use out of it that you can. Okay, next, this is an item I actually never ever owned. Just didn't use it. Knew from watching reviews I wasn't ever going to use it, and that is a changing table. I just have always changed Molly on the floor with a towel or a blanket. I never wanted a changing table because I never wanted to like change her diaper sideways. That's really weird. I want her to be like facing me as opposed to like turned to the side. So I just never ever messed with one. This one was useful before she was born, but certainly not after, and that is cloth reusable breast pads. They were useful when I was leaking before she was born, but it turns out that your nipples get really, really cracked and scabby and bloody and chapped and all that when your baby starts to nurse. And my nipples actually stuck to the cloth, and I had to rip them off, and it hurt so bad. It was just crap, and then like all these cotton fibers would be stuck on my nipples, and it was just awful. So I went with disposables, and then when my milk came in, I realized, oh, okay, yeah, I definitely filled a disposable within an hour, and then it would start leaking. So there was no way I'd be able to even use the cloth pads. Maybe a couple months down the road, but really by then my letdown, I would leak a little, and it would like get on my cami, but it wouldn't really like leak through my shirt. So I didn't use them at all. I used disposables. The next thing, this is something I did use a little bit, but I really wouldn't get it again, and that's a play mat. It could be because mine had the sides that went up, so it was like a taco, I guess. And I wanted it because it had a toy bar. It went over the top, and you could hang toys from it and stuff. But Molly didn't really ever like reach for stuff, and she never really looked up at the toy bar, so it was totally pointless. And the toys would fall off because I had to get my own toys because the one I got used, and so it didn't come with toys. And it just was totally useless to me. I just put her on a blanket, and she was fine. So that's one thing that I just didn't use, and I probably won't ever use. Maybe if I got a nice one, I'd use it. This one is definitely 50-50 depending on your baby, and that is bibs. I didn't use any. I did baby-led weaning, and so most of the food that Molly ate was just not messy. It wasn't like a puree that would like get all over, and so I just never used them. And then a couple months down the road, I gave her spaghetti and I put a bib on her, and she actually ripped it off when I wasn't looking because she just didn't want it. So when we do give her something messy, I will take off her shirt. Or I have just this really big t-shirt that I use as a smock, and I put that over her clothes so that when she's eating spaghetti, she doesn't get her shirt all dirty. But really, I don't really feed her really messy foods like that because I just hate cleaning them up. This one I never used because it was the same as the boppy. I just forgot to use it all the time, and that was a nursing cover. And I don't really go out in public, so I don't nurse in public because I'm just never out. And Molly, from the start, only needed to eat every like 5 hours, and so I could go to the store with my mom and she'd be fine. I nursed her in my car a lot. Like, I'm not really that comfortable nursing in public. Like, it's just not who I am. And I don't go to a lot of public places, although I imagine with my second baby, I'll be out more, so I'll be nursing in public. I don't have a problem doing it. And I don't have a problem with everyone else doing it. It's just that I don't want to. But anyway, the only place that I would use a nursing cover was at church. Like, we'd go to the crying room, and everyone used a nursing cover in there, but I kept forgetting it. So Molly got used to not using one, and so when I would try to cover her up, of course, she'd just pull the blanket right off, and so I just said, screw it, and it wasn't really hard to just, like, cover my boob with my hand when she unlatched so that no one got a nip slip. And that worked really well, so if I do nurse in public, I'll probably just discreetly put my hand over, because you can't see the nipple when your baby's nursing. It's only when they unlatch. The next item is baby hats. I got so many baby hats at my baby shower. I used exactly 0 of them. The only baby hat that I used was the one that I don't know if my aunt knitted it or if she just purchased it, but she mailed me a little knitted hat, and I used that for Molly's going home outfit, but other than that, never used them. Molly hated hats. In the hospital, she would cry until I took her hat off, and then she would stop crying. And the other thing is loveys. I received like 4 of those little like blanket things that have a little like toy head on them, and she just doesn't use them. She doesn't use loveys. Her comfort object is my nipples, which really sucks, by the way. But she has really no use for loveys at all. So that's one thing that if you want to get one and see if your baby likes it. I mean, she had one that she liked, but then she lost it, and she didn't really care. It was just something that I would give to her, and she would kind of grab onto. And that was about as far as we went with that. Next is something that is definitely personal preference. That is baby lotion. I have an aversion to lotion. Like, I hate putting sunscreen on because I hate how it feels on my hands, and I would never ever put lotion on my hands because I just hate how it feels. And so why would I put it on my baby? I hate it on my hands. I don't want to mess with it. So I never use lotion on Molly. I know a lot of people do, and that's just a personal thing, but I definitely did not use any. The only exception is she's got eczema, and it's not real bad, so I don't really do anything about it because she doesn't scratch it. But when it got pretty red, we just used the lotion that my husband was using for like his dry face in the winter. So that's all we did with lotion. This next item was one that I didn't really use because I did baby-led weaning, and that's baby food. I tried to puree some food, but Molly just got so offended every time I'd give it to her. She preferred to have it solid. And so I just never used pureed baby food. I never bought baby food. I wouldn't anyway. I would have made my own, but I never used it. That's a definitely, like, your baby will let you know if that's what they want or not. So don't go spend a ton of money on baby food because they may not like it and eat it. This one's a special one because I do use this, of course, but I found something better, and that is socks. Because Molly hates socks, so she pulls them off all the time. So what I actually did instead was I used tights, because she can't pull off tights, and you can't lose half of a pair of tights. So in the winter, when it's socially the norm to have socks on and not be barefoot, even though she wasn't walking, I would put tights under her pants because she couldn't pull them off, because she definitely would immediately, every time, pull socks off. And during the summer, I never used a pair of socks. She just went barefoot all the time, or of course she had footed PJs as well. She had lots of those. So that's pretty much what I did. I never used socks. Now that she's in shoes, I do use socks. And now that she's older, she doesn't like pull them off because she likes to wear shoes. So that's something you don't want to go overboard getting. I would use tights. Even if you have a boy, use tights because no one can tell. You have pants on over it. The next is one thing that I used. I knew I wasn't going to use it long, so I got it used. And that was a shopping cart cover. The problem with shopping cart covers is that every cart at every store is different. And the shopping cart at the grocery store that we go to didn't really work with the car seat cover. The cover would go on fine, but the slits that are in the cover that the belts of the cart go through were in the wrong spot. They were too low, so I had to like fold the top down and put the straps on around. And I mean, I could have just cut my own holes, but I didn't. And really, you can just use a blanket. Your baby won't care. I only used a shopping cart cover because I was worried that she'd be cold in the winter. I wasn't worried about her eating the bar, like the push bar, like I guess a lot of babies do that. She never did. So I didn't need to worry about that. And I just used a blanket when it was cold. It wasn't a big deal. The next one is baby towels, just because they're so thin and small. Just get a big towel, wrap them up in it. Also, what I did, I really wanted a hooded towel, so I actually had like a 2 washcloth and 2 like small towel set, like a dorm sized towel, like a little bit smaller. And I actually sewed the washcloths together, made those into a hood, and sewed it onto the towel, so she has a hooded towel for free. And I sewed it in a way that in the future, when she doesn't need a hooded towel anymore, I can take them off and it'll be a washcloth and a towel again. Next is a bath seat, or like a baby bath. We never used that, at all because we have a huge jacuzzi tub and we just co-bathed with her. That just worked for us. Now that I'm on my second child, I might think about getting one. They're really, really easy to get at any thrift store or any consignment sale because people just don't use them or for very long. So we just co-bathed with Molly until she was big enough to not have us in there with her. And she never used any like special seat in the bathtub or anything. We just held her and that's how we bathed her. It wasn't a big deal for us. The next thing is something I own, and I probably would have used it more if I had more opportunity, and that is a baby float. Like in the summer when you put them in the pool, you have those cute floats with like the canopies and all that, all those gimmicky things on it. And you put them in it so they can float in the water. I didn't use that much because, first of all, it wasn't a problem just to hold her and play in the water. And also, the one pool that I did go to in the summer doesn't allow them, so I had to hold her anyway. But if you have a pool, if you live by a pool, then you'd probably want to get one of those. But I got mine used. Everything on this list that I owned, I got used. Or got gifted to me. And the last item on my list is hair bows. I was not a girly girl. I don't know how to do baby hair. Barrettes did not stay in her hair at all. Like the ribbon covered ones just slipped right out. And the little ones that are like for kids that have the little like, not like really sticky rubber, but they have like the rubber on them, the barrettes. She would pull those out as soon as she noticed they were there. So I had to cut her bangs because there was no way I could let them grow out because she would not keep those clips in. I can't put her hair up. And I never used the headbands. Like, I couldn't figure out how to put them on. I guess I'm dumb, but it felt really awkward to, like, put them on. Now that I, have a baby, I might do those with my second baby, but probably not. I don't own any. I didn't go out and buy any. I don't have any abundance of hair bows whatsoever. So, anyway, that's my list of things, baby products that I didn't use for various reasons. So you can take it or leave it, whatever, it doesn't really matter because everyone is different, but you might find something useful while digging through this. So that's all for now. I will see you guys later. Bye.